Hello and welcome to Viper Bites. Hey, the NFL draft, it is just around the corner, and we have got your prospect profiles kicking at you here, courtesy of the Dynasty Vipers. Hey, I'm Matt Donnelly. You know I'm a Viper. We are going to get to this in just a second, but make sure to take a second, rate and review us on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever podcasting platform that you're listening to us on. Make sure to rate it. Hey, and if you're watching us here on the Vipers Network, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and make sure those notifications are turned on because we have got prospects dropping just about daily right now leading up to the draft. Now, let's talk draft. Let's talk running backs, and let's talk Texas A&M running back Isaiah Spiller, 6 foot, 217 pounds. RAS score, 5.63. Don't read into that too much. Now, his 40-yard dash, pro day style, 4.69. It's not going to get you too excited. Vertical, 30 inches. Broad jump, 114 inches. Now, when we look at these metrics here, courtesy of Player Profiler, speed score, 89.7. That's in the 26th percentile. Burst score, 113.1. That is in the 24th percentile. College Dominator, 23.7. That's in the 48th percentile. Those metrics, they don't begin to tell you the story of what Isaiah Spiller can do. Now, Isaiah Spiller is perhaps one of the best running backs in this class, but when you look at these metrics, it doesn't really scream that this guy is going to get it down at the next level. But I'm going to tell you why here he can get the job done. Now, we look over his history here at Texas A&M. Spiller arrived on campus, and immediately, week one, he ran the ball 7 times for 106 yards and a touchdown against Texas State. Now, he came in relief. It's a bit of a blowout there for a guy named Joshua Corbin, okay? You already forgotten that name. Now, by week 7, he basically Wally pipped Joshua Corbin here because because Joshua Corbin suffered an injury back in week 2, and that was the last we heard of him while Spiller was at Texas A&M. Now, Spiller, he went on to score 10 touchdowns on the ground, rushing for 946 yards as a freshman, earning himself first-team All-SEC freshman accolades. And you know what? There's been some good freshman running backs in the SEC during Spiller's time there. Now, in 2020, who needs to be an SEC all-freshman team when you can become a all-SEC first-team selection here, running the ball for 188 times for 1,036 yards, 9 touchdowns. This came in just 10 games, 8 games in which he started. 2021, again, all SEC. Led Texas A&M with 1,011 rushing yards on only 178 carries. He basically averaged 5.6 yards per carry, scored the 6 times. He also added a little bit in the receiving game, 25 catches there, 189 yards, 7.6 yards per reception, 1 touchdown, again, in just 12 games. We look at that production. That college production for Spiller is there. He basically had 1,000 yards each of the 3 seasons he was there. And the one season that he didn't hit 1,000 yards, he was pretty darn close for a guy who didn't really get a whole lot of action there to begin with. When we look at what Spiller does, let's talk about his strengths. What makes him so effective? He has great balance, which helps him get up the field in a hurry off of one cut. Now, he makes that one cut, and he is gone. Now, his lateral quickness, his bounce to the outside, this is something that is next level when we look at it. He is able to bounce out, find himself another hole, and he's difficult for defenders to get a read on and get a clean shot on, especially once he gets through that line. Now, when we talk about weaknesses, yes, there are some concerns when it comes to Isaiah Spiller. And at times, at 2021, maybe it's because the Texas A&M line wasn't very good. Maybe it's because teams sold out against the run, but he looked indecisive at times. He's not the kind of finisher that you would expect to be, especially short yardage goal line. He doesn't have that little bit of the boom, like John Madden would say. One thing he has to work on, especially if he wants to get more involved as a 3-down back, is get those hands going. Yes, he had some receptions in 2021, but not nearly as much as you would expect for a 3-down back, especially. Now, you want to break down all the 2022 NFL prospects? Head over to fantasypoints.com right now. Get that NFL prospect guide. Where else can you find 200 plus profiles done by the one and only Greg Cassell of NFL Films? Wes Huber, he gets in on the action. Scott Barrett, Graham Barfield, John Guru, Joe Dolan. These guys are all there. It's the greatest collaboration of fantasy and draft minds all in one stop. And you get it all for $25. But wait, there's more. You get strengths, you get weaknesses, you get those NFL transitions broken down, you get mock drafts, and of course, you will make sure to get yourself those Devi rankings, those rookie rankings. They are all right there at your fingertips. Again, for $25. And hey, make sure to subscribe to fantasypoints.com. Use promo code Vipers22 and get yourself another 10% off that subscription. You are not going to find better deals out there right now when it comes to fantasy football and the NFL draft. Now, let's get back to Isaiah Spiller and what he does and how I project him at the next level. Spiller's lateral quickness, it reminds me of a poor man's LaShawn McCoy. Now, while he does not have what I would define as elite speed, especially at the NFL level, he can make you miss in the hole and quickly get up the field because of that lateral quickness. I mean, he may not bust out a 100-yard run or a 90-yard run, but he will pick up chunks, as is evident by his 5.5 yards per carry average in 3 seasons at College Station, playing in the SEC. Now, we talked about a guy early on in this prospect profile series here, Treylon Burks, and how teams basically knew that Arkansas was going to him. Well, it was no different for Isaiah Spiller and Texas A&M. Teams knew that they needed to get to Isaiah Spiller. And if you're still averaging 5.5 yards per carry and everyone knows you're the guy that you need to stop, that's still impressive, especially in the SEC where we know, hey, I'll show my SEC bias. There's some good competition in that SEC, especially those SEC defenses. Now he produced 1,000 yards rushing, receiving each of those seasons. I mean, he just missed out on 3 straight rushing seasons of over 1,000 yards. He threw in a little bit of the pass catching ability, easily over 1,000-yard marker in each of those years. And he averaged about 25 catches per season. Now, it's not 3-down back territory, especially by the NFL standards, but you know he can get himself involved in the passing game when needed to. And what you need to do is turn those notifications way on up because we are bringing you fresh content almost daily here on the Vipers Network, especially as it pertains to the NFL draft. So make sure those notifications are turned on. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure when you're looking for news, you come to us because trades go down when signings break. We got you covered here at the Dynasty Vipers Network.